Now, this season just keeps getting crazier and crazier. We'll talk about it first, and it's that Edwards is out of Origin, and some whispers it might be a 4 to 6 week injury, so like fairly bad, but then physios come out and said, well, if he's touch and go for this week, we know that these quad strain, just sort of that 1 to 3 week kind of range. So super frustrating for anyone who has traded in Teddy, has captained him, has owned him for, obviously got a good month if you bought him a month ago. Some really good scores, some good price rises there, but this is the unluckiness stuff that no one deserves at all. And super sorry to hear that of the people that are in that situation. And there's a lot of people that are in that situation. It's, there's plenty out there, which we'll go through in a second, that top 1,000, especially if you want to just if you haven't looked at that yet, I'll go through that with you. But 27% of people end up captaining Tedesco, which has actually just changed, and now it's showing all the captaincy and vice captaincy stats now that Tedesco is actually out. So Aitken's moved up to 29, so that means 7% of people that had Tedesco as captain had Aitken as vice, so they'll at least be happy enough with that 80 that they end up with that. I know Scoops in this situation, I had a look there, thank goodness for him, he has Aitken as his vice, and that worked out well. For the rest of the guys, it's Dylan Brown. He's bumped up a fair bit, given he was the first game of the week as well. A solid score at that with a 50. Manu's now at 10% captained due to a lot of people vice captaining him, so he's going to be the big determinant as to how well people go this week, that's for sure. And if you did vice captain Aitken, or captain him straight, like myself, it is a nice win, that's for sure. DeBell in there with a 50-odd. 53 there as vice or captain, worked out solidly enough. KO Weeks 4.7%, got a 68 out of KO, which is awesome. The Trey Fuller one is a little bit frustrating, obviously. HIA late in the game, end up with 36, but as an owner myself, I hope for a lot more. You had Moses in there, people brought him in and captained him, 4.3%. We've got Terrell May with 2.6% of people captaining him still, which I think he's going to do great. Had some Max Plath captainers there. The Sammy Walker in there at 1.9% as well. 1.7 with Scotty Drinkwater. 1.5 for Dom Young. 0.8 for Angus Crichton and Yo, which at this stage has likely meant they've traded those guys. Isaiah Yo traded to be pretty tough unless these guys are teams that aren't playing right now. And then similar to that with Carrigan at 0.6, unless they're their vice captain and they got Tedesco. That's the other potential option as well. And then obviously Carraz at 1.5 is a little bit of a tough one. Similar to that with Fuller. And just a really wet weekend has just made that really, really tough for people out there. And I do think having Teddy miss this game, these trade numbers will probably change a little bit as well. So you've got currently 12.2% of teams have used 4 trades, 24.4 for 3, 31 for 2, and then a 20 and 12% for 1 and 0. I'm currently in the 0 gang. Shout out to all you guys in the 0 trade gang this week. It's going to be 3 or 4 next week, that's for sure. If Armstrong ends up, getting a rest for a week or anything like that, it could be a tough one. But yeah, that's the situation. Have a little look at that once the Roosters game starts. Have a check out of that and see if that changes at all. But also another thing to note is the average trades left is actually at 11. So I'm personally at 13, which is funny that I'm ahead of the average now because I was well below that average after max trading for the first portion of the year for sure. So there you go, just some interesting stats in the top 1,000 there for sure. And players remaining, sort of the majority of people are either at 0 or at 1, so that makes up 68% of players. So I'm in the 1. Hopefully don't lose too much, but I think if it's Manu as captain or those other guys I mentioned, Dom Young or Sam Walker as captain there, they'll make some decent ranks today, which will be good. Hopefully you're a part of that. And if you're anywhere around that 2 or 3 mark, you're going to do well with captain as well. So there you go. I just wanted to mention that heading into this week. But let's go through the Panthers and the Dragons games. So 10-0 at halftime into a 22-0 finish there for the Dargans, I should say there. And Raymond Faitala-Mariner, congrats to the people that do own him. There's 2.4%. You've ended up with a cracking score, 11 tackle breaks, and obviously got plenty for that try as well, but he worked so hard and absolutely deserved this win, along with a few other guys who we'll speak about in Jesse Marshke, along with Couchman in his 39 minutes. Fainai brothers did a good job as well with DeBell and Little all over the 50 mark there. But Raymond, good stuff on that front. It's not likely he's going to be playing the full 80 week to week, which is why his average is a long way down. Big shout out to Liam Henry for his 73. They took off a few tackles for him, but I was having a look between fantasy and SuperCoach stats. He was at 77 tackles here in fantasy and 62 in that of SuperCoach. So I wonder if the SuperCoach number comes up now that this fantasy one has come down a little bit to 71. But either way, an absolutely incredible effort. 74 minutes on the edge for someone who's been playing lower minutes through the middle, but we know that he's a big middle stats guy for sure. But yeah, did great there. Obviously, one turnover tackle out of the 71. I think that's at least fair to have one of them for sure. And not too many people own him. A few more people do in SuperCoach, where he picked up a 67. Fisher Harris there was 68. He ended up playing 72 minutes. So I suppose, in this scenario, he just had to stay on there when the game was kind of getting away from him, and they were trying to sneak this win for sure, especially given they lost a couple of weeks ago. And of course, I can't catch them at the moment. The 2 times I've tipped them in the last 3 weeks, they've lost. And the 1 time I didn't tip them, they beat the Sharks. So they lost to Warriors and they've lost to the Dargans. But they beat the Sharks. Of course they did. But yeah, that's how it works out there. 68. If you grabbed Fisher Harris a few weeks ago, you've actually gotten... end up with that lower score with the lower minutes. But then the last 2 weeks, he's gone 50-odd into 68. So very, very impressive there. Speaking of impressive, Marshke, 66 as the halfback. He's obviously a halfback himself and has been deputising at 9 sometimes off the bench. But yeah, really good line break into a try assist there for him. Good kick meters as well. Good run meters. Very low on the negatives. Just the 8 for a full 80 minutes in the wet. Very, very impressive for that. 27 tackles, 3 misses. Hopefully we can see a little bit more of him going forward. He would absolutely get so much out of that, beating the Penrith Panthers there in a game where they definitely should have not been winning. Lindsay Smith played the full 80 in the middle. So that was super impressive as well. 61 tackles for him. Him and Liam Henry just going nuts there. And he just got a few more run meters there for Lindsay. 62, great effort there. Couchman, 62. For those that remember last year, we owned him at some point, or most of us did. I don't believe I did in SuperCoach. I don't think I did in fantasy, but he was, anytime he kind of got some decent minutes, he was able to score well, but that wasn't to be the case in this year at all. It's his first game of the year and a cracking 62 with an awesome try there. He loved that. That's for sure. 6 tackle breaks, 0 negatives in this one. So very, very impressive. Well done. All right, left edge. He just scores tries now. Now that Taylor May's not there, there's tries down this side. Now Lamotti scored probably 4 or 5 now for this season, whether he's on the left or the right. And of course, Isaac Tungall can't score a try. My SuperCoach man, he's been an absolute shocker. Can't wait to get rid of him in round 16. It's just, unless, oh God, he's going to be so cheap by that point. But anyway, Alamotti, for those that do own him, he's 496 and had that low score a couple of weeks ago, and he's gone back into against the Warriors, and he's come back to back with a couple of good ones there as well. A couple of offloads and 9 tackle breaks, doing great things. Fainai, as I said, Matty Boy, 54 for him with a try, 3 line breaks. So great work from him. No one's going to buy at this stage there. We've got Lomax and, Bird's going to come back eventually. I'm not sure if Fainai's going to keep the spot. Yeah, they'll have to shuffle things around when they do get Lomax back. But Jack DeBellin there, 57 minutes, so a bit more in his wheelhouse, but scored pretty well where you've got him priced at a 53, just above that, where he's priced at right now with a line break assist, 28 tackles only, so that was a little bit low, but good run meters and obviously a couple of offloads helped him out there with only the 2 in negatives for a 53. Very, very solid. Jacob Little, what I'm noticing, guys, is pretty much the majority of the buys this week, so those players that we've gone out and bought, have actually scored pretty well. So hurts a little bit being a non-trader this week. But yeah, DeBellin scored fairly well. You had guys that bought Aitken. Obviously, we haven't seen Manu yet, but a lot of the purchases in Preston and these kind of guys have done really well this week. You got Sorensen with a 51. Before I get to that, I'll go through Little just so I don't forget. But 52 tackles for him, and the odd one offload to ground, a turnover tackle. So a little bit there, not much on the running side, but was obviously a good part of them winning this game. And without a recognised 9 on the bench, he's been playing 80 over the last few weeks as well. So if you have jumped on, it's worked out pretty well over the last few weeks with a great score there of 52. Sorensen's 51, full 80 in this one. Was expected to get the full 80. I wonder what will happen when Martin returns. But at this stage, and they've got Garner to return as well. But at this stage, 51, very happy with that. And hopefully, you can continue to score really well and get 80 minutes on a constant basis, because at that price point, you're absolutely winning out of that. Eisenhuth with a 49, so still scored really, really well, just in 45 minutes there. So yeah, the minutes are all over the shop. Obviously plays sometimes out in the centres covering, and then sometimes big minutes in the middle. sometimes on the edge, sometimes 45 through the middle. And this was a lower one there. Still great if you own him. Obviously, scored above what he's priced at. Sloan with a 39 with that nice try off the kick of Marshke. Cole, 39. He was on, I think, 32 or 33 at halftime, and then it just went downhill from there. Missed a bunch of tackles, obviously, with the Dargans going really, really well. Did plenty of kicking in this one at 276, which was, split between him and Schneider there. And, yes, made 29, but missing 9, really hurts, obviously, on that front. But 2 try assists did a good job. You'll take the 39, and hopefully he maintains his spot in this side next week. I just wonder how it'll look with Schneider returning this week. Maybe this was a good little hit out for Schneider, and he can get back into playing well next week. But he missed 6 tackles as well to go along with Mitch Kenny's 8 and Cole's 9. So they'll have to clean up that defense for sure. Flanagan's 38 for anyone who's still holding him. A good score in the round you need him. Finau as well. See only Finau. Work it out. Someone tell me in the comments. 35 in 80. I just gave all the options, I think. I probably still got it wrong. 6 tackle breaks, 180 metres. Good stuff from him in a win. Kenny, 34, not great. Molo, McLean. How good was that try, by the way? That was very, very impressive. That kick into that, bounce and jump on it. Pounce on it and score. Almost went out too. And the hair was flowing. Laurie at fullback. Didn't have to do too much in this one. Just base stats there. 28 for him. Sully with 28 if you hold on this far. So many centres at the moment, isn't there? Isaac Tungo with 26. Very, very frustrating for owners of him. He's just going backwards and backwards in price, and also his average, and still crazy that he's averaging 41.4 for the season, given how well he started and how much he's fallen off there. Schneider, if you've held on, very, very shocking 24. Not expected at all, and hopefully he does keep his spot for you as owners next week. Let's move to that final game of last night with one game to go in a couple of hours. 6:05 for me there on that one. So, moving along, Dolphins and the Durs. So, I was having a laugh at this one. I ended up being not sure what was who I ended up tipping in this one, and it ended up being the Raiders, thank goodness. My brain, when I did my tips about 3 or 4 days ago, thought that the Durs would be able to keep in this side, keep in this game really close, and the Dolphins kind of were flailed a bit last week and weren't that great, so that's why I did pick them. But as the game was going, about 3/4 through, I was like, I better just check my tips. I'm pretty sure I tipped the Dolphins, given they're at home and they're doing pretty well. But so a very crazy finish, and congratulations to Jordy Rapana, kicking his first and second field goal in this win. So very, very impressive. In the one game there, I should say. But Joe Tarpany to kick things off in 93, playing 63 minutes. Obviously, an extra 7 or 8 or whatever minutes it was in overtime there in extra time. And 50 tackles was great. Obviously, 3 offloads. Did pick up a line break as well. So 50 tackles and 211 run meters for 71 in pure base. That's incredible. And yes, the game that we've been hoping for all season. And if you have jumped on, did see a few people that have captained him, you did a great job, and you got the biggest score of the week so far. Speaking of big scores of the week, how good is this man? It obviously started off really, really quickly with a offload, line break assist, try assist to Jeremy Marshall-King, who ended up with a great 74 as well there for Jeremy. But Aitken has been absolutely incredible the last 2 weeks, especially 70-odd into an 80 there. What a great time to buy him. 2 weeks ago would have been the best. I got him for his 48. 3 weeks ago, but if you bought him in round 3 or round 2 or round 4, you've absolutely got to fill up on Aitken. He's gained over 200k. It's going to be more after this, 230 or something like that, and averaged 57.4 in that time as a center that can play on the edge, and is like the best edge at the moment that played this round. So impressive what he's able to do. Another 45 tackles for no misses. So you know that he's going to run the footy, which he did end up getting up to 149 metres. A little bit slow through the first half, but he got going in the second half with his running side, and he was so impressive for his 80. Very much the same with Jeremy Marshall-King. He ended up with a try assist and the try there, 48 tackles for 2 misses. He brought out his best game of the year when you needed it most for owners of him there in round 13, owned by 6.7%, and a little bit jealous as a non-owner, that's for sure, but I'm still happy enough with Jaden Brayley. At Mariota, anyone who's still holding on to him after he had an opportunity earlier on in the season, absolutely got the chocolates on this one. 74 in 76 minutes. 0 negatives apart from 1 error and 1 inside 10. So just neg 3 on top of a 77 score. So impressive from him. Along with KO Weeks, they're 68 in his full game here. Obviously got a try and a try assist. He does have a lot of speed to burn, and he's able to manage these games really well. Since Fogarty's been out of the side, they've won, I think, 3 out of 5 or something like that. 4 out of 6, somewhere in that range, which has been incredible. And he's been a massive part of that, averaging 56 in that time. So he'll be up into the 550 mark after this week. He's just gone from strength to strength. So I'm very, very impressed by him. But speaking about guys I'm impressed with, Elliot Whitehead is averaging just under 50 for this season, which is unheard of with him. Yes, he was a 570 type of guy, and he's been that 40 scorer for a long time. And there was a good while ago when he was his first year over here in Australia, where we all had him in our side, and he was a guy that was a 40 odd edge that made us plenty of cash. And since that point, he's been a 550, 580k guy that averages 40, and now he's up to 50 this year and is scoring tries and doing great things, helping this side get wins. Speaking of guys really helping out, Maxi Plath, you're a good man. 59 in this one, 78 minutes, just had that one little stint off, and he was good to go upon return. Really, really worked out that he gave Jeremy Marshall-King a little spell, so that was great for him. They used to use the HIA replacement. Connolly Lemuelu came back on, and that's why Plath got a free rest, and then they brought him back on and were able to give Jeremy Marshall-King a little rest, which didn't help them win, but it helped both of them with their tiredness and their scores for sure. So neg 10 overall for Plathy with 4 missed tackles, but 59 is incredible. You can see there's a bunch of decent scores. Obviously, having multiple players in this game was great for a fantasy and SuperCoach perspective, given they were able to play some extra minutes, get some extra points there. And then the Raiders getting a win as well was great for my tipping. Farnworth, 54. He's been great since returning. 49 is his average for the year, and that's even higher in the last 3 weeks with that 99. That's for sure. And people will be looking at him. Obviously, both these teams have a bye next week, so there's not too much to say on the bye column. But a few of these guys following round 14 are going to be absolute steals. And we know that the Dolphins especially will be absolute steals following that, given they only missed round 18. So they'll be in that pretty much the same boat as Titans, and just under that of the Tigers in terms of good teams to purchase for the rest of the year. But that's that for Farnworth. And then Isaiah Katoa with a 54 there. He has been incredible all year. Didn't help him get the win, but he did some great things there. He ended up having 140-20. It looked like he had a couple in the end, but they must have pulled that one back. Just looking at just going back through the game there. But yeah, Isaiah Katoa, 54, great stuff. Morgan Smithies, unfortunately, a little bit of like a leg problem. I still don't really know what happened with him, but 45 in 64 minutes. Very, very likely he would have been there for the back end of this game. So yeah, 50 plus was what you probably would have expected with the extra time in this game, but still 64 minutes, still did a great job. 45 you'll take, and he might be a sell next week, or you hold him for that all-important round 16 and 17 and move on from that point there. Gula 45, we had Strange 44 in this one. So for those that did trade Strange a few weeks ago, now this week even, it just feels like it's a wasted trade. And you could get rid of him next week. Like whoever you traded him for might have scored similar. You may have traded him to Manu or something like that, and fair play to you then. Yeah, you can have that one because that likely is going to be a win. But still, I don't think trading out a guy that could hit you a 40 odd in this type of game in this type of week, when we know what next week's going to be like, is a great strategy going forward. Nichols then Stone, both 43 each. Josh Papali'i, 42. Rapana, 42. Just a big shout out to him. 2 field goals there. 1 try assist. He did a great job to just help ice this game, and they needed that little bit of experience to help them get over the line. Donahue and Bromwich, both with 40s there. Xavier Savage, a 38. A good try at that. Leaping over Trey Fuller. Lemuelu, 37. Not his best game, but no attacking stats in this one, and meters were a little bit down along with tackles. So yeah, you couldn't expect too much. Again, Seb Chris has just continued to be fairly consistent, up and down around that 40 mark down to sort of the 20 odd. And you take a 37 out of this game, and yeah, it would have worked great for your plans. That's for sure, I think. And then you can trade him next week. Trey Fuller, obviously the try saver there when he got knocked out, I suppose. Not ideal there. He picked up 3 tackle breaks, 151 meters, an escape from in-goal there, a couple of kick defusals. But good thing with him, he does end up getting in and making some tackles. But Yeah, a little bit frustrating, obviously, holding this far. We'll have to work out who is available next week as to if he's going to be a sell or a hold. Ideally, I'd want to hold him through to 16 and make my decision from there. But we'll have to see what happens with the Armstrongs, with Hines backing up, with Cotter, all these types of players as to whether he's a sell or not next week. Because I'll definitely be holding Aitken, Weeks, and Plath. We've got, Fuller's the one that is disposable for sure. But I've absolutely loved having you in my side tray. I wish you got a couple more points last night, but I can't complain too much there. Matt Timokor, again, when you want him most, a little bit of a lower one for him. But he's had a solid season for sure. Asako with a 31, just hasn't been himself, has he? Obviously missed a bunch of field goals as well. He got one of them early in the piece with 8 minutes to go, but then couldn't ice the game following that, sadly. 31 for him. I still think you hold on, but I do understand if you do want to sell at this point. But he plays round 16 is really, really tough in the wing fullback slot, unless you're trading in Manu, Garrick, Kolar, like all these guys, or you have a bunch of them already. I think it's fairly tough to feel, obviously, if you got Weeks mucking around in half, or you bring him down to wing fullback, that type of stuff there, we'll work it out with those positions, and you chuck in your planning and go from there. What about Danny Levi? 2 try assists in SuperCoach, but 0 in fantasy. The differences are crazy sometimes, that's for sure. But 29 for him, not the worst in the world if you held on this long. Bostock 23 with the try, Avrilo 25 with the try. Mooney doing good things again there, 28 in 31 minutes, and Simi Sasangi only 17 in his 20. Shout out to Bromwich. Unsure if it's ribs or pec at this point, but he got injured in the 4th minute, which was frustrating for him. Anyone holding Kotrick all this way, looping him or something like that, then a 22 on that front there. And just to finish things off, you've got the Panthers and Dragons on the SuperCoach side. Alamotti, a great score for anyone who did pick him up a while ago now. He's made a little bit of cash there. Fish, with those big minutes, got the 80. Lindsay Smith, Henry, obviously relevant there. All these guys are going to be relevant for the next few weeks, and then you can decide what to do in round 16 when they have a bye. But Sorensen at 54, if you grabbed him, solid enough. Cole with 47. Unfortunately for him, even with the try assist there, 2 of them, it says he missed 4 tackles compared to 9 on fantasy as well. So it's very, very different in each game, that's for sure. But Cole only 47 there with 2 try assists, pretty tough. Then you've got Laurie's 39, Isaac Tungo 34, so not great, as I said there earlier in the fantasy side. Taruvu 23, not good either, along with Schneider's 9 for anyone who's still holding on to him. Vitala Mariner and Marshke leading the way for the Dargans there with DeBellin 61, very, very solid. Who else we got? It's important. Obviously, Little with 50. You'd hope for a little bit more. Obviously, this is pre-updates as well, guys, so keep that in mind. And then we go to the Dolphins and the Raiders game. So Tarpany, just in pure base, 106 for him. 1 line break, I should say, outside of the pure base to get a ton is just incredible. Aitken, I've got in my side. So, yeah, he's carrying my team this week and doing an incredible job at that. Aitken there with the 84. Then Jeremy Marshall-King with 2 try assists as well. A try assist was great for 82. Farnworth, solid 61. Plathy owners, 57 for him. Not too shabby at all. And then you've got Nichols in there with 55. Isaiah Katoa, 52. Asako, 51. A bit meh. Okay. Lem with 42. Fuller with 31. So just a bit of an average one. Supercoach-wise for myself, apart from Aitken up there. Smithy's 49 was very, very solid. If you grabbed KO Weeks, 81. If you're holding out to Mariota, incredible for 85 there. Levi with those 2 try assists. Just absolutely dominated for those that needed him to and have held on to him this long. So sometimes you do get lucky in this game. Xavier Savage, 59 with Timoko's 51. Very solid. Ethan Strange, 36. Hopefully that does update a bit given how well he went on the fantasy side of things. But let's just have a look at his tackle break numbers. They've got him at 6 there on the tackle break side to go along with his run. So yeah, you'd hope for a little bit of an update there, but we'll see how that one plays out. And then Kotrick with 28, Simi Sasangi 18 in this one. Obviously, remember with Supercoach, guys, it's your top 13 scorers, most likely taking Talangi away and Hughes, so it doesn't leave too much for the imagination, but that's where we are, guys, with the update for those 2 games. We've obviously got the Teddyless Roosters going to dominate my Cowboys in a couple of hours there, 2.5 hours. I wish you all the best of luck in that game, and I hope it is a fun one and kind of close would be nice, so the Drinkwater can get a few stats, that's for sure. So thanks, guys, for being here. We'll see you in the next one.